We are exactly 2 weeks away from the start of the regular season, with the Sixers taking on the Boston Celtics in Boston for their season opener. Could there be a three-guard lineup for the opening tip to start off against the Boston Celtics? That's where we'll begin today, as Nick Nurse teased a little bit with 2 weeks to go of what that lineup might look like. We're coming to you live from the Xfinity Lounge. And it's great to be with you on this Wednesday, 2 weeks away from the start of the season. And with that, our show is presented by Rothman Orthopedics. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Do us a favor, hit the like button. We really appreciate it. As always, hit that button right from the top. You guys have been great about it. You too, you gals have been great about it. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Make sure you hit the like button as always. And we got a big baseball game tonight, everybody. So with it, you got to make sure you check in with the pregame show with Tyler Zulli for the PHLY Phillies pregame show. That is tonight for 9:08 first pitch tonight, followed by, hopefully a win, keeping the series alive, a postgame show that will feature either Rich Hoffman and Pat Egan with Tyler, maybe Bill, although Bill has a hockey game tomorrow, so maybe not. Tune into the best Phillies coverage here on PHLY Network as you get ready for that. And the ultimate PHLY Sports Night watch-alongs tomorrow. If the Phillies win and there's a Game 4, there's a watch-along Eagles-Giants Thursday Night Football along with Phillies-Dodgers Game 4. If they lose, it's Flyers-Panthers season opener with the Flyers team. All right here at PHLY, bring you a lot of different things, a lot of cool things. No basketball because
I
it's
just have to say,
game.
you can't call it ultimate if the Sixers are not included. Sorry.
Very true. It's a day later.
It's like semi-ultimate.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Watch along.
Mostly ultimate.
PHLY watch along.
Nobody talked to me about
tomorrow.
the branding on this thing.
Derek, Kyle, Devon here with you. Bree is the president of basketball operations. All of you are up and running already in the chat. We can't thank you enough. Derek, at practice today, we got a three-guard lineup possibility conversation. We've been discussing it a little bit because they've talked about it in the past this summer. We've discussed it as a result, and we've seen VJ Edgecombe now with the 2 starts in the preseason. Quentin Grimes is back, although Jared McCain is not there. His name has been mentioned. And it seems like that Nick Nurse dropped a little nugget based off of liking what he has seen so far through camp, and certainly with the 2 preseason games from VJ Edgecombe. What were your takeaways from what Nurse had to say? We'll play the clip as well, but your initial thoughts.
Well, it sounds like VJ Edgecombe could start. I think that was the main takeaway. And, he started off, he's talking about how he likes that they're both comfortable playing on and off ball. He said that they hoped that was going to be the case, but it looks even more advanced than they were expecting, and about how getting Tyrese off ball frees him up, really weaponizes that shot, weaponizes the ability to attack closeouts, and gets Tyrese to being back to the best version of himself. And that all sounds great. And then he sort of ended it by saying, and then we'll mix in, Quentin Grimes, we'll mix in mix in Kelly, mix in Jared when he comes back. And just the way all of that came out, it was very clear, he's looking at it like this could be his starting backcourt and then go from there. And it really does sound like it's not just and look, you don't want to read too much into it because you can come out tomorrow and be like, man, Quentin really tore it up and he's a great fit next to Tyrese and on off ball. But there's so much invested in this kid.
And Friday they could start Quentin and Tyrese and not VJ, and we'll all be like, well, this is a complete waste of time.
Never done that before. We've never wasted any of your time. But no, it does seem like A, the first impressions are strong, and B, the skill sets fit very well. And obviously, could something change? Yeah, but I mean, that was way more I don't want to say definitive, but stronger of a display from Nurse than I think maybe I would have expected. And look, I am still a little bit I'll believe it when I see it, not only because of Nurse, just because coaches, especially coaches with their job on the line, and expectations of pursuing a playoff spot tend to defer to veterans, but the veterans here are so flawed. And VJ, you have so much invested in VJ, and he's so clearly, not being, he's able to meet the moment, at least in terms of preparedness, in terms of work ethic, in terms of effort on the court. I think he could very well start. I don't think this is just bluster coming from Nick.
No, I mean, number one, he started both of the first 2 preseason games.
with
And now,
2
granted,
guards out.
there's not as much competition
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that spot as there would be when they're fully healthy. But
Kennedy Chandler, baby.
already given him those chances. The first time we talked to Nick after camp opened, he specifically said, and I asked him directly, I was like, hey, how much time or how much utility is there in VJ and Maxey going head to head? And he comes out right out and says, we want to play them together as much as possible. So that's step number one. Then they start together in Abu Dhabi. And then you continue to hear like, hey, not only do these guys look good together, they actually look better together and make more sense together than maybe we had thought they could initially, right? So everything that they are showing and telling us lines up, right? That Maxey Edgecombe is the pairing, that's more of the foundational grouping in the backcourt, and everything else flows out of that, right? Now, I also think, just looking at it, pure basketball skill set fits. The defensive side is one thing, but if you're talking about, okay, what do you need if you start Maxey and Edgecombe together, and specifically Edgecombe, because we know Maxey will be out there, you want another shooter on the floor because VJ has been inconsistent as a shooter so far. And that is more of a long-term project, long-term development. Hey, you feel good about him. The free throw shooting's been very good. The form looks pretty good. He's putting a lot of work in, but he's not a high 30 shooter yet. At least we're not seeing evidence of that quite yet, right? And so if you're looking for a guy next to them, it's probably not Kelly Oubre in terms of the offensive fit, because Kelly, his main strengths are on-ball creation, slashing, driving, drawing free throws, right? It's not the off-ball gravity. It's not creating floor spacing. It's not opening up lanes for those two, right? He can help them on the defensive end. He can take some of those bigger wing assignments, take pressure off of EJ, take pressure off of Paul George. But I think, honestly, like, the path to this team being good comes through the offensive end, right? They do not have the depth in terms of wings. They do not have the experience. They frankly don't have the backup bigs behind Joel Embiid to build an elite defensive team or a high-level defensive team early. So going all in on offense is probably what you have to do. I think it would make a ton of sense. I've been saying over and over, I want to see them play Maxey, VJ, Grimes. It certainly seems to be on the table. And the other part of the extended answers that Nurse was giving today was, I asked him a pretty broad question about the rotation, and he dropped a hint that, like, you're going to see us do some things tomorrow in terms of how they line up and maybe who they start. So I think tomorrow's game, or not
Friday's
tomorrow,
game.
Friday, excuse me, I forgot.
Not part of the ultimate. Not part of the ultimate.
Yeah. Friday's game, I think, could be a reasonably big indicator as to what Nick Nurse wants to do and how they want to set up. So it's a little tease for the preseason game on Friday that I know a lot of you are staying in to watch Sixers Magic for a preseason game on a Friday night in October.
Well, so where I do go with that one, Kyle, after you say all of that, is the offense obviously is in the forefront of what they do, and that's why you want that shooter on the floor next to Edgecombe, because he's unproven so far. Positive things coming out of training camp and the 2 preseason games, but he's still not making shots the way you would want next to Tyrese Maxey, so that's where Grimes comes in. The other part is, because when you bring up all those positive things, or all the things that Kelly Oubre does that could impact winning, but also impact some frustration while he's out there offensively, he's also really known to be the one guy that you can throw out there and say, hey, can you go check that guy on defense and slow him down? So if they're doing this, they've seen enough already where they at least have some belief that Edgecombe and Grimes together can maybe make up for some things while they're out there, if Kelly Oubre is not going to be the one that's going to be getting that on-ball defensive assignment for that top scorer there. And they have enough faith right now in VJ Edgecombe to potentially do that. So that says a lot. After a training camp, sure, he's come out and already said how good they are. But then number 2, starting those 2 games, we saw some things that we didn't like against New York, where he was his head was turned this way, somebody went right by him, his feet were planted to the ground, somebody drove right by him just off a jab step and getting it done. But they're willing to take that chance right now because he is the number 3 overall pick. They do see a lot of positives in him, and they see that the arrow is pointing up for him for what they have seen that we haven't seen in training camp, in these practices, and certainly what they've shown already that they feel like can be improved while he has made some little small mistakes. He's a rookie. Those things are going to happen. So to have Oubre coming off the bench right now, no McCain, but have him coming off the bench and do those things. On ball creation, shot creation. You know he's going to take shots, but he's also going to be on the floor with some of those others as well. Yeah, he's going to be the one. No McCain there. He's going to be the one. But he's going to be on the floor with the starters for a decent amount of time while he's out there. And as we've said in the past, he has played well in the role that they've asked as a starter. But at his best, he is probably at his best as a 6th man where he can just do the stuff that he wants to do, and it'll probably help him out. So the defense stands out for me there because you're giving up a lot. I think even though we've had said a lot of positive things about Grimes' defense in the past as a 2-way player and the questions that are still there looming for VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre does some pretty decent things to help you out on the defensive end. So this says a lot to me. Yes, offensively, that's the focus. But defensively, if you throw those two out there, you're saying, okay, we can get away with and we can run a lot with those 2 guys out there alongside Tyrese Maxey.
Now, one of the other most interesting things that Nurse said with regards to starting a 3-guard lineup or just, playing a 3-guard lineup, in this case, Jared, he said, is in that mix, right? If Jared McCain is healthy, that's someone that if they start 3 guards, that could happen, right? And that's interesting, right? Because we've talked on the show about we want to see that. They need to get data on it. They need to, evaluate all 3 of these guys together because Maxey certainly has already proven he's a franchise pillar. VJ is drafted as a franchise pillar. Jared McCain's play last year in his 20-something games that he played is worthy of consideration to be one of those guys. And so if you're at that point, you say, well, how do you get them all on the floor and can they coexist? But to say that, hey, maybe they could start all 3 of them together, that would be pretty bold, right? Especially because in my mind, whether you were going to start Jared or VJ, I would have expected whoever does not start of those 2, you're the guy who's kind of the bench captain, right? You're running the second unit, balls in your hands. I think I have assumed that would be Jared just because of VJ's stature by being the number 3 pick. Maybe Jared is more of a natural point guard or playmaker or whatever, however you want to say that. But I don't know, man. It certainly seems like Nurse is at least leaving the door open that when McCain returns, as long as he can get up to speed quickly, and frankly, as long as those guys can hang on the defensive end, which is a major question, that they're open to going to that early, which is kind of surprising to me. I figure we might not get to that until, maybe someone's job is on the line, or maybe it's like, hey, we're losing. Might as well play the young guys, throw people off of the scent. So I'm curious exactly how it all comes together when everyone is relatively healthy.
Yeah, I mean, look, clearly they didn't draft VJ 3rd overall for him to, come off the bench for Kelly Oubre for the next 3 years. That was not realistic. The question was when that would be. And I've never been one where I didn't think VJ had to start from day one. I don't think you have to do that. I don't think his development is dependent on being thrown into the deep end right away. To me, if I'm reading this, it's, VJ looks better than expected, and it's more positive that than it is anything else. Because like I said, I always thought eventually you were going to get to VJ starting. If it comes sooner, it means he's ahead of schedule. And I do agree with you two. If VJ starts, it has to be next to Grimes just because you need some shooting out there. And VJ at this point, not a reliable 3-point shooter. Kelly obviously has not been a reliable 3-point shooter pretty much his entire career. You need some spacing. You need a little more off-ball play. And I do worry a little bit about the defense. Grimes is a capable defender, but Kelly's better at the point of attack, and Kelly's just more versatile. He can defend more archetypes of offensive players. So I worry about that a decent amount. But if you're going to get VJ into the starting lineup and he's ahead of schedule, you're going to take that defensive limitation and you're going to be fine with it because it just means you're getting a chance to evaluate one of your pillars earlier on than you expected. And I do think long-term, Maxey and VJ, I think have the right skill sets to play off next to each other. They're going to have a hard time finding that perfect third fit. I don't think Quentin is a perfect third fit just because of his defensive versatility isn't as high as you would want. Kelly is clearly not the perfect third fit because he can't shoot. And McCain is that would be a really small wing trio. You're going to have to navigate that. But if
and
VJ,
that's being charitable that any of them could be called wings, right?
Yeah.
Like VJ is the closest thing, and you're stretching it with him.
Yeah, and he's probably 3 years away from having the strength to really be a wing, even if he's still going to be, not quite have the size that you would ideally want. But like I said, I think my main takeaway is that VJ is ahead of schedule. I'd love to see the ball go in the basket a little more when he's shooting from the perimeter. Hopefully, I don't want to overreact to that, in part because I remember last year, both in Summer League, when I think Jared shot like 25% or something from three-point range in Summer League, struggled in the preseason. Now, obviously, VJ doesn't have the pedigree as a shooter that Jared does, but you could see it come around sooner than later. But yeah, I think it's all good, quite frankly.
He's going to be the fifth option. And that's not a lot of pressure there to start the game off as a fifth option.
Fifth option if the big boys are healthy. I guess.
That's what I mean. Yeah, if the big boys are out there with him, he's the fifth option. So anything you get from him offensively, of course, is great. They're going to run some stuff. They're going to ask him to fill the lane, run the floor, finish at the rim, do the things that we saw there in Abu Dhabi. But there's not a lot of pressure for him right away because they are surrounding him with scorers and shooters, in that case with Maxey, McCain, and if Paul George and Joel Embiid are out there, then he is the one that, hey, we still have to account for him too. Oh, by the way, he's the number 3 overall pick, super athletic, and he can do a lot of positive things out there on the floor. When we come back, we'll let you hear more of what Nick Nurse had to say, talk about the lineups as we continue, and while we're at it, some more things from practice that Kyle and Derek got to hear from Nurse Grimes as he spoke to the media for the first time since returning, and more. We'll tap into it all. Our first pause of the day on Wednesday, 2 weeks away from the start of the regular season. 2 weeks away.
Time is flying,
Two weeks away, man. Let's get some basketball. Friday, they play a game. It's not part of the ultimate tomorrow night with everybody else here at PHLY, but we do. You know what?
The semi-ultimate.
We have it by ourselves. We'll have a preseason
the
post-game.
Ultimate PHLY Sixers postgame show on Friday night.
No pregame, only postgame on Friday. We'll see you then, of course, for that. But for right now, Nick Nurse on the other side from practice right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
Look, I'm going to be locked in tonight for the Phillies.
Oh,
might be curled up in a fetal position, but I will be locked in, and I need my stream to be perfect. No lagging, no buffering, any of that. And to do that, I'm going to watch through Xfinity. Because if you're a sports fan, you have to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination where I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way that you watch is next level. Got all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. It's so clear, it feels like I'm in the arena. On top of that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
Well, here's what I don't want you to do tonight. If in the event the sweep occurs and you're ticked off, I don't want you punching the wall or kicking the door.
No promises.
And then all of a sudden, I need to wrap this up and head on over to the emergency room. Or better way, just simply go to Rothman Orthopedics. Yes, whether it's a fist through a wall or a foot through a door because you're ticked off at your baseball team, Rothman Orthopedics is here to help you get back to life and get back to doing what you love. Their team of specialists treats all kinds of orthopedic issues from everyday strains to long-term joint pains with the care that's efficient, effective, and close to home. Like, again, frustration from your baseball team. So, year over year, Rothman consistently performs among the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country, over 60,000. And if you do get frustrated and injure yourself because you're mad at your baseball team, well, don't let that pain keep you sidelined. Schedule an appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY, or maybe even head over to one of their urgent care walk-in centers, 30-plus convenient offices that they have, and get checked out. That's Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission.
Devon,
What have I seen so far? I mean, I've seen that Tyrese and VJ look very good and very comfortable out there doing kind of both things. And we were hoping that was the case, but it looked to me like even well advanced, so that's going to be just fine, right? Either one of them can play point, either one of them can come off the ball. Both of them can be out there on their own at the point. They can take turns if they're out there together. And I think it plays to their strengths. I mean, I think Tyrese, we showed last year, he showed that he can, he needs to be off the ball some because of that speed into his shooting and turning the corners and things happens with him not having the ball. So that's that side of it, filter in Grimes, filter in Kelly, wait for Jared to return. That'll factor in.
I wonder if Nick had to punch any walls last season, 24 wins, frustrations and all,
So have any of you
Kick some
actually
tables.
punched through a wall?
My cousins have.
Okay.
It wasn't good. Yeah.
I did once in college.
Yeah.
And it was sports
One
related.
of my best friends did it while we were in college.
I don't punch walls. I used to throw Xbox controllers at them. Ask my college roommates how playing FIFA went in our apartment or house.
One of my best friends broke his hand.
Yeah.
And when we were in college, he was so ticked off.
I take it out on other things,
Yeah.
not my own body. Is kind of my philosophy on that.
Yeah, and
That's why I stopped playing sports games. By the way.
Yes, you have. You did say that. Before we were getting that, you were saying,
I
because
was
we were
gonna
talking
say,
about that.
No, when you said back to life, I was like, all I can think of when you said that is back to reality.
Back to
That was that
reality.
Soul to Soul.
Soul to Soul, yeah. There
Great
you go.
song.
Yeah, classic, legendary. Nick Nurse, speaking about the guards and the lineup possibilities that were there. And the first thing, Kyle, when you had tweeted it out and you sent it back to us also, was it just jumped right out that was
because it's
something
just
that he was talking about.
It's just a theme, right? It's something that we keep hearing from him directly. Like, I really like these guys together. We are facilitating these guys being together as much as we can, right? As much as you want to say, hey, it'd be great if VJ is guarding Maxey, right? Like we saw those one-on-one sessions they got in after practice where it's good. It's competitive.
Happens.
They're pushing, shoving, they're having some, but as far as what we're hearing and what Nurse is telling us and how they're deploying these guys on the floor, they're playing them mostly together. It's funny, even in Abu Dhabi, yes, they got VJ some minutes on his own without Maxey and vice versa, but like still are trying to get more of the minutes with the two of them on the floor, and they seem to be very happy with what they're seeing. I do think, based on how positive Nick Nurse has been, there really must be something to what Brian Windhorst has said that he's heard from players, right, about where VJ's at, because we've seen the flashes, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen what VJ looks like when it's going well in these preseason games, but the other side of it is he shot really poorly. For Nurse to be talking up that pairing this much, I have to imagine that in these scrimmages, the 5-on-5s and all the things that they're doing behind the scenes, that VJ is leaving a strong impression. We don't have to worry about the Tyrese half of that. It's not like he's in any danger of losing that starting spot.
If we have another bad game on Friday, there will be people in the chat calling him six-man Maxey.
But yeah, so I just think it's great. It's great to hear these things. We need to see more progress. We need to see the shot come around for VJ at some point. Right now, I will frankly settle for volume and confidence, right? If he starts poorly out of the gate as a shooter, the one thing he cannot do is turn into I'm going to be an 0 for 2 guy, right? We've talked about that with many, many players over the years, Tobias Harris being the most famous example. That's as big a problem, if not an even bigger problem than being a shaky shooter, is taking a miss or one bad miss and saying, I'm going to record scratch possessions over and over again the rest of the game. So I've liked the confidence he's continued to show as he has gone through those ups and downs. And clearly the coaching staff does too.
We talked a lot about easing him into everything because while he's the number 3 overall pick, there's a lot of talent right there with him that's going to be battling out. And now the McCain injury certainly changes some things as they've talked about. But Derek, that was the central focus of the offseason, not just the Embiid and the mandatory injury conversations that we have. As you said, can they be out there on the floor? But it was also it's surrounding these 4 guards and what that might look like and how much can they be out there on the floor together, or what 2 guard combinations are going to be there together, and then extending it to that 3 guard lineup. We're getting that way faster than we probably anticipated.
Yeah, and it'll be, like I said,
maybe.
And my initial impression was, hey, it seems like VJ's ahead of schedule. That's great. And then my second thought is like, oh, well, we can actually start like evaluating some of these and getting some data on what works and what doesn't, because there is significant concerns with every 3-man pairing on the perimeter. And if we can start, like I said, seeing whether or not Grimes and VJ can defend wings on the perimeter, that's great. Seeing how well Maxey and VJ can play off each other, that's great. Getting to see Tyrese off ball, like first play of the game the other day, that's great. And if VJ is ready to play and start and play 25 to 30 minutes right from the jump, I didn't want to force it, but I'm very happy that it's here. I think being ahead of schedule here, because there's so much that you have to evaluate, and so much evaluate by the trade deadline, by the way, because either they're going to be good, and then Grimes, not Grimes really, because you can't trade him, but you could end up making a move with Kelly, or they're bad, and you might make a move with Kelly because you're trying to duck the tax. Obligatory reference.
Throw it in the jar, baby.
And then you have
I have
decisions.
something coming for that, by the way. It's on the way.
And then you have decisions.
Is it a big Scrooge McDuck money sign bucket?
Let's get the money gun.
And then you have a decision with Grimes next year where you might have to give him a lot of money, and how well he can play alongside your third pick. Huge factor in that equation, and getting more data than less is obviously beneficial.
No, but look, let's say Friday, Nurse just goes with it and puts Grimes right out there, or we just simply see it, right? And they playing against Orlando, and you have Suggs out there as the one. Orlando plays their guy Suggs, Bane, and then you have Franz Wagner. We're gonna see it right away of what that may look like and how that.
Orlando is a big team
Exactly.
to play small again.
Yeah, right. So we're going to see that immediately of how that, because the wings there's some lengthy wings in the Eastern Conference and in the NBA in general that they're going to have to go. We saw it with New York, of course, but there was no Grimes. You had Kelly Oubre out there with Barlow in the front court. So we'll see. But if Orlando does that and Nurse decides, you know what? Let's just go for it right away. Let's see what it looks like.
Stress test it.
Yeah, why not? Throw it out there and see how they respond to it in a preseason game and see what that action looks like. So, but I think part of it is, and we've talked about this a ton, so I'm just going to bring it up again. That's where you just simply run. Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Joel Embiid, catch up, because we're out. And if we have an advantage out there, a 3-on-2 break, sure, you're going to spray the guys out.
We're not waiting for the old guys.
We're not waiting for you, no. And if we have an advantage, it's either, again, finding the guys around the perimeter, or I have a one-on-one where I feel confident in Tyrese Maxey to get to the basket and finish at the rim, if that is, in fact, the case. So that's what it is. Run. Just run and get out there and see what that looks like, and put those defenses on their heels. You start to pile up some personal fouls. You get guys in foul troubles that could be key. They have to go to the bench. And then, hey, if it does happen, the secondary break happens the way that you need it to, that means Paul George and Joel Embiid are now back in the action, and there should be some second side action that could happen when they get back into the play. So a lot to look forward to. Now, it all has to be executed properly, but a lot to look forward to. And then maybe we're not talking about, man, looks kind of boring out there with that offense right now. You're getting some excitement there with those players overall if you just simply get out there, track shoes, and run.
And so to build off of that, Devon, we finally got to hear from Quentin Grimes today.
Sure.
This is the first, like, his agent at the end of this process was out there pretty publicly talking about negotiations. There's been a lot said about all the numbers, the contract, the 100 to 300K raise. And I think all of our biggest question, at least my biggest question, I'll speak for myself, coming into today or coming into whenever we were going to talk to Quentin Grimes, is like, how does he feel about all this? And he honestly was very reserved about the whole thing and said, from my perspective, basically all the right things, right? What I control, I try to control that. Said, how hard he goes in the gym, working on his body, things like that. The rest is up to his agent and the front office. And here was the even more surprising turn of events. He straight up said that hopefully he gets to be back here and sign a longer term deal, which that was like, I was not expecting those
Say
words
the
out
right
of his
things,
mouth,
man.
Right? It was one thing. He did also say that he wanted to be back, like past tense, wanted to be back here on a longer term deal. To still come out and say, hopefully I get to be back here and sign a longer term deal after all this, I was a little taken aback by all that.
Smart
Now,
man.
Look, I give him a lot of credit.
Handle it right, man.
His agent certainly gets some credit too. Probably told him like, hey, come out, put on a good face, because what you don't want in his situation is to lose any kind of cachet or understanding from the fan base that you gained from this whole standoff. Keep that, right? Just be like, hey, I'm coming in to win, to work, to do the things that I do, and we'll see how the rest works out. So I think he did a pretty good job of, playing everything off and just saying all the right things about the whole standoff. And to his credit, Nick Nurse said he looked like a guy who it was not his first day of practice. He talked to us about he was at the University of Houston with Kelvin Sampson, and we know he's a guy who in his gym things get very serious. Seems to be in good shape, is picking up whatever new concepts they have right away. So I don't think it would be crazy if Nurse just decided, screw it, we're starting him on Friday. Let's just see what this looks like.
No, I think Quentin did a smart thing there, because there's only one team that holds his bird rights, and there's only one team that possibly can hold his bird rights.
Yes.
They don't travel if you're traded, so you don't want to take a team off the board who could pay you.
Right.
And especially, I think after watching how this look in next year's free agency, he'll be unrestricted, so it'll be different. But you can't, you're not guaranteed that somebody with cap space is going to want you. So that team with bird rights is important. That's why, it's why he wants that no trade clause unless they're giving him a lot of money, but also why you don't want to burn a bridge here. And, I do think part of what we're talking about with the evaluation, if you feel like you can get by with them defensively, I think Maxey, VJ, Grimes offensively can work as a trio.
Oh, yeah.
It's just evaluating whether or not you can, use them against some lineups, whether you can use them against all lineups, like how many teams will be able to exploit that. And if that test that they're testing out here comes back in a positive way, yeah, he could be a part of the team's long-term future. Hopefully they're willing to make a more reasonable offer next year, and we don't have to talk about
$100,000.
ducking the tax once again. But if all of that lines up, then yeah, I actually do think he could be a fit, at least offensively. Got to figure out the defense.
That's how he had to come in here and handle it. He had to come back in here and handle it with, even though his agent was saying the things that he was saying, going to all these different people to get their message out, they clearly had a sit down of, all right, now we got to come back in here and say it this way too. Mm-hmm. And Quentin Grimes has never had a reputation of being a bad guy anyway. That was a problem child in the locker room, or teammates not liking him, coaches disagreeing with Quentin Grimes. Never had that. So I didn't expect anything other than just him coming in and being professional. Saying what he said, I don't know that I expected that, but being a pro, absolutely. And with that, as we said it, hey man, if Jared McCain was healthy and he was still out there playing and trying to earn some minutes, you're giving these young guys an opportunity. Kind of did, because VJ Edgecombe is being talked about as a starter, pretty much cemented as a starter in the backcourt with Tyrese Maxey. But he got the benefit of Jared McCain not, unfortunately for right now, not being out for very long. And he can jump right back into it and maybe still have a starting role where he can thrive. And as we talked about yesterday of what are some things with the mailbag asking what we thought might happen, and Quentin Grimes might be the third leading scorer on this basketball team, was one of the things that we talked about yesterday. And somebody else brought it up early in the chat today because of what he could mean to this offense, being healthy, number one, but his scoring ability as not the lead guy, but a guy that can have that fourth defender or that third best defender out there on the perimeter. And he feels like he can cook them and go get some buckets. And to the shooting point, he will make shots. Yeah. He's going to hit shots. He's going to get to the basket. He might even get to the free throw line. And for him to come in right away and to be as diplomatic as he needed to be and as professional as he needed to be and come in and work, then let's see how it goes. The talk is the talk. Now go out there and do exactly that. And no trade clause. Can't go anywhere unless he approves of it. So there it is with Quentin Grimes. Will he start on Friday? Who knows? But he's certainly going to play, and we'll get a chance to see what it all looks like.
Yeah, and there's no chance he'll approve any trade. It makes no sense for him at that low salary figure. You're just cutting off a team to possibly sign you.
All right, let's take our final break here. When we come back, some other things that maybe the guys saw at practice to talk about.
We got two big names that we got to talk about coming out of this break.
There you go. Two big names. The tease of the two big names. Were they there? Were they available? What's their status? maybe trending Watford, maybe something going on there. We'll
So
get
what
to
is
it
the
all.
Biggest name on the
All right,
Sixers.
biggest name on the Sixers.
No, I'm just trying to. It's
Jared
not a Dembona because that's
Jared
only
McCain is
5
pretty
letters.
popular. Yeah, he's pretty popular. We'll come back right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Oh, folks, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Man, I need like 365 hits tonight from the Phillies to keep this series alive. Oh, man, if they can't get swept, man. They cannot get swept. But look, if you are placing a wager on your baseball team tonight, Game 3, trying to keep the season alive, and they're going to need some offense from their top 3 stars. A big night on the mound from Nola. Will they get it? Well, right now for tonight, LA is minus 185 on the money line to win Game 3 and complete the sweep. The home run odds, which they have done nothing, those top 3, Schwarber plus 255, Harper plus 475, and Ohtani plus 190. He hasn't done anything either. Nola is a minus 2,500 as a no to win the game. That's telling you what they think about the Phillies. But if you feel otherwise and you think your team is going to get it done and extend this series, well, right now you got to go to Bet365. And as a new customer, you get a $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5 to get 200 in bonus bets. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, unfortunately, you're probably not going to be looking at the Game Time app for Phillies playoff tickets anytime soon.
Game 5.
Boo this man! Boo!
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not going to happen.
Make it happen. History.
But if you want to go
Need
to a
something to
Sixers
throw at 'em.
preseason game,
That's
if you want to
fair.
go to an Eagles game, if you want to go to concerts, you always know you're getting the best prices at Game Time. And with the Game Time guarantee, you get 100% authentic tickets on time at that best price. I'm looking at prices for this game on Friday, Sixers Magic. You can get in the door for $7, and that's fees included because you see all that stuff up front with Game Time. You can get tickets, I think, in the lower level for as low as like $15. Sit in the club box for $40. Like, we're talking, these are cut rate deals. If you want to see potentially the debut of the Sixers 3-guard lineup as a starting lineup, you also get zone deals, panoramic seat views if you want to check out the view before you buy your tickets and get in there. And of course, the lowest price guarantee, or you get credited with 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it, Devon?
Game time. Phillies better show
Certainly
This
not
would be a
time
phone?
for the Phillies.
It's a BlackBerry.
Oh, that's a BlackBerry? That's definitely a phone, but
It's called a Sidekick.
what?
Yeah, flips
Flip?
down.
Man, that looks like a Nintendo
That is-
DVD player for sure.
That's a VCR.
A what?
VCR.
Bro, so where the city go? That's an MP3 player, huh?
It's an iPod.
Man, Michael Jordan had those on the
Yes,
bus.
he did. Discman.
What?
Where you
So you just
spoiled.
you just keep a stack of CDs,
There was an actual CD book,
bro?
cassette tape player.
How that work?
So you open that. and
What'd you
there's-
open?
You,
Man, they headphones on the side.
And then you have to flip the tape on the other side when you want to listen to side 2.
Oh, so that had side 1 and side 2, and it's only 2 songs.
No, you get a whole album.
Oh, you get an album?
You get the whole album.
So 2 albums though. The movie Fast and Furious. Yeah, very first one.
2001.
Man, they had the same cast for a long time.
Well, we get the same cast here for a long time with the Sixers group, VJ Edgecombe, with our conversations. Go to the YouTube page as you're on right now. After we're done the show, go check out the videos and the shorts and check out those videos with the players as they are answering the questions to what the popular things were.
I'm shopping
in
for my coffin right
2001.
now. While you're talking, I'm doing some
And they had no idea of what, like Tyrese Maxey.
DJ makes me want to look at AARP information, honestly.
go buy a
I
funeral
love
plot.
all the what?
Fun stuff. Please go check it out. Support it at our YouTube page there for those
SB Cole
conversations.
says, these things aren't that old. Why are they this surprised? And it's like,
Because they're 19 and 20.
brother, I get it. But they all, like, you have
What
to
was
understand
VJ born in 2004?
how quickly
God.
everything moves now compared to when we were kids. Things had some permanence.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
So I think Janai Broom, when we showed him the sidekick, it was either Broom or Watford. And that was the original sidekick.
Yeah.
He was talking about the later sidekicks that
Yeah.
slid up. He was
Yeah.
like, oh, my mom had one of those.
See?
And I said, but see, she had the
Yeah.
newer version. This is the original. Go check out the video, everybody. Like it for us, please. Go view it. We really appreciate the support, as always. Now,
Where do you put the CD is a killer on the VCR. So.
I mean, even him knowing what a
after he
CD
said
was.
it's after he says a VCR, well, where do you put the CD?
In fairness, there is a C in VCR, so how is he supposed to know it's not a CD?
Mikhail No Bridges says, where you put the CD? Laughing emoji. We appreciate it. We had fun with the guys doing that. And again, please go check out the video overall. All right. Back then, we would use the VCR and watch games and record those. And
Well,
put
I
those
love it.
tapes
Everyone's
in.
like, oh, I'm watching some tape. Oh, are you now? I really hope that's not true.
Last time Joel Embiid played, it was the VCR era, it feels like sometimes.
And you were literally watching those games on that. I mean, I'd imagine we may have seen some like Fresno games from when Paul George was there. We got an update on Paul George and Joel Embiid today.
We did. So the basic gist of it, Joel Embiid practiced today and has continued to increase activity, is the Sixers phrasing. That includes 5-on-5. So that's a
Positive.
obviously that's probably the most noteworthy thing, is that he is in 5-on-5s at this point. Now here's the nebulous, still needs to check more boxes before he is game available. So
When we were told that, did you hear checking boxes in the Brett Brown accent? Because I absolutely did.
I did not, but we did earlier in the day. We got a ramp up from the team, so that was they have to throw that money in the jar. I'm only reiterating that they said it. And then with Paul George, I thought this was a less positive update. He's still doing individual on-court workouts. He's working toward, again, team's language, getting integrated into team workouts in the coming days, is what they said, which is a nice way of saying he's not practicing with the team yet, and we're 2 weeks away from the season opener. So
That sounds like mid-late November, if
at
best.
So at this point, I feel a bit more bullish on Joel and a bit more pessimistic on Paul George.
But when you say bullish, are you bullish as soon as opening night or just
I certainly am not going to
First-
guarantee anything.
first
Joel.
two? No, I mean just more.
But I could see
more on the
opening week of
positive.
the season,
Yeah.
he is available.
Okay.
I would not stake anything
Charlotte,
on that.
25th home game.
Well, he only plays those types of teams, according to
Go
some
out there and
people.
drop 40 on the Hornets.
So I could see Joel being back fairly soon based on what he is available for already. Paul, if you're still in the individual workouts phase, granted he doesn't have the history of Joel. It's not all the baggage of like, hey, we need to treat him with absolute kid gloves. But I didn't think that was an especially encouraging development or update, I should say.
No, but I don't think I was expecting him to be ready for opening night. Paul George, I mean. So him not looking like he's not being ready, and I agree. If you're not practicing yet, being ready in basically like 2 weeks, almost to the day, it doesn't sound encouraging.
Yeah.
But I didn't have my expectations set that high. I think the Joel, and look, we can preface this with
Famous last
could
words.
change.
Anytime
It could
we
change.
talk about Joel.
but a player playing 5-on-5 and continuing to progress, I want to give myself a pat on the back. I did not use the R word. Continuing to progress.
First of all, don't say the R word at referring to ramp up. I don't think that's the right way to.
That's
let's
fair
just-
point. That's fair point.
Let's just not.
Fair point. I need to come up with something else. I'll work on it.
Yeah.
we have a jar, man. It's okay.
But continuing to progress, we have not, and really to me, it's more, the 5-on-5 is great. It's that every time he takes a step forward, we don't hear anything about any kind of step back, any kind of problem that he's having, anything he's having to work through. Maybe they're just not telling us everything, but it does seem like there's a pretty linear progression here without any kind of a setback.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that could all change with one plant of the foot. We understand. But this has been a much better training camp and early preseason out of Joel than I think I would have expected. And I say that acknowledging he hasn't played a game, but it's still going in a much better manner than I think I would have expected.
Was he out there today just post
not
practice?
So we didn't see basically
No?
anyone. By the time they let
Okay.
us in, it was Eric Gordon, Grimes,
Watford.
and the third man
I was
going to
get to
talked
Watford,
about
yeah.
quite yet was Trendon Watford, who was going through an on-court workout post-practice. But he also, I thought, was a negative update on him. He remains out,
Yeah.
is not playing Friday. They're saying they're not rushing him back, and they're, expecting more on-court work within the next week, which,
Yeah.
again, that's...
And they kind of highlighted like, look, these can be tricky. We're not going to
Yeah.
rush it, which to me sounds like, oh, he's not all that close.
Yeah.
He was doing some shooting drills that we saw. So he's
And some like one-on-one,
Yeah.
which again,
Yeah.
not especially intense, but
And Watford was a hamstring, right?
yes.
Yeah. So take your time. Yeah.
It is one of those injuries
Take your
that
time.
it can linger. And if you allow it to linger and then you try to push yourself, you can turn what is
couple
a
week
minor
injury,
injury
and,
into a much more severe and damaging injury. So I understand why they're being cautious with him.
Yeah, I would say take your time on that one for real, because if this one, to your point, if it happens now and you re-aggravate it, then it could be so much worse. And he's important, as Tyrese Maxey has talked about him so much. Nick Nurse just talking about him glowingly of the things that he could do at that point forward position that we've talked about a lot, and how he could maybe unlock some things. Take your time and let them figure it out and get it out. So the only problem is your starting power forward, Paul George, you have no idea. And now your backup, assuming backup power forward, who has the edge on Barlow and Walker, is no longer there. So what does that do? That then opens it up for those two, in particular, on two ways to get some early run. Maybe not in the starting role, but an early
But you
run.
could, honestly, could they start on opening night? I don't
Could.
think it's out of the question at this point.
No. Or could you go Kelly Oubre at the 4 and do that? I don't know. I'm just asking.
giving up on the whole concept of rebounding at that point.
I know. But no, just take your time with that hamstring injury, because that's too important for something like that to happen
100%.
and for that to get any worse. So practice in the books for Quentin Grimes, first one, and it's good to have him back in the mix where we can put that behind us. Hopefully he just goes out there, play basketball, and see how the results play out. And it's a good season from this basketball team, as we've simply talked about. They need him. Right now, he kind of needs them too. And go out there, let the partnership run where it may, and see how it goes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to foresee what this is going to look like in 2 weeks. Right. And it's very difficult because vague updates on Joel, vague updates on PG, vague updates on Watford. Your only power forwards otherwise are your two-way players. You might start a rookie third overall pick and you might play him in a 3-guard lineup. Who's your center, right? I think Bona appears to be the leader in the clubhouse ahead of Drummond right now, but we'll see if that holds true.
It hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire there, so there's a way for Drummond
a lot to happen there. If they start 3 guards, how do you handle the backup point guard situation, and how do you stagger Maxey and VJ? Like, there are a lot of balls in the air right now. So I'm very curious what we see on Friday night and in the preseason finale, because they just don't have everything settled or figured out. They know who and Nurse talked about it a little bit today. They know who their top 6, 7 is, but a bunch of those guys have just not taken the floor. And what you really need to figure out is not who the top group is, but how they interact with one another, right? What are the combinations that work? Who do you want to stagger, right? Is it Maxey and Joel? Like, we know how good they are together. Do you want to try to maximize their minutes? Or are you splitting them up so that Maxey can try to carry the team when Joel is on the bench and vice versa? And then, how does VJ work as one of the lead guys playing off of Joel? Where does Paul fit into this when he comes back in the mix? Like, there's a lot to figure out, and not a whole lot of time before the season starts to do so. And we've all talked about the importance of that opening stretch. So hopefully they can get some good work done in the next couple of weeks to solve all this
Well,
stuff.
the point guard stuff would be those 3 guards, because we saw Quentin Grimes play some point guard last year when he was ripping up those other teams' defenses, but also while he was scoring, they put the ball in his hands to run the offense, to see what that looked like too, because they were maybe looking to extend his contract this year. And so it's those three for sure. I think the only other option, and I'm not trying to be funny, is just can you get 5 to 10 minutes of just point guard play from Kyle Lowry while he's out there on the floor?
No.
Because you don't have George, you don't have Watford, and B would bring the ball up and do some setup things. I don't know that Nick Nurse is going to want to trust Kelly Oubre to do it, and he's certainly not going to trust any of those others, Justin Edwards, Dominic Barlow. There are no other options. Eric Gordon, he's not going to want to do that. The only option is Kyle Lowry's probably going to have to get 5 to 10 minutes here and there. Kyle, it's different than last year when we were talking about he has to start. This is now.
I was never saying he has to start, to be very abundantly
no. I
clear.
mean, when we were going off on,
yeah.
Oh man, he's starting him, but now it's you don't have Jared Butler to hold things down for a couple of minutes. He's the only option.
You want to watch my head explode on this show.
I've seen
Kyle
it
Lowry
happen.
being in the night one rotation. I think more than likely.
Densley Richard, I'm just saying that's what they have. That's healthy. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying that's what he's probably going to do.
I think more than likely what would happen is kind of what we saw in the first preseason game where Maxey and VJ start together.
Yeah.
VJ comes out. He came out really early in that game. It was only like 3.5 minutes in. But maybe you play them together for 5 minutes. You take VJ out.
7-minute mark.
Maxey plays until
3 minutes.
Could be end of the quarter potentially, but more than likely it's like 2 or 3 minutes left. Then VJ comes in. He gets those point guard minutes alongside maybe Grimes, alongside maybe someone else who can share the responsibility. And then he takes it until Maxey. Maxey has his solo minutes, and then they close the half together. It's kind of, I would imagine that's how the plan looks right now if you're going to start those two together and Jared McCain is injured, mostly because I refuse to think about a world where Lowry is playing because he came out and said he basically said, I'm not here to play on media day. His first thing that he said is like, yeah, I'm not about that stuff. I'm here for mentorship and getting guys generational wealth and all kinds. It's like
cool,
good.
Except
Coach
for
Lowry, put the hat and the tracksuit on and
all right.
the sticker, the name tag.
Call Kennedy Chandler then, I guess.
How many games do you think that Lowry gets at least 15 minutes?
15, I would say 1.5 over under. 1.5.
If that over hits, you are not going to see a pleasant man on this show alongside you.
0.5 is the over under. I would say, I didn't say I wanted it. I'm saying, who else?
It'll happen at one point.
Where's he
going to
go?
Injuries. And
where's he going to go? Like, really, where's he going to go? Is he going to give it to Eric Gordon?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry.
He's going to play the young guys a lot of minutes. That's why they have the guards. You can't load up on all these guards and then be like, you know what? I think
I'm not looking at Ben. I'm looking at right now.
I just hope it's
McCain
a road
is not
game.
there. Edgecombe is like, oh, there's too many mistakes are happening right now, and you have to stagger the minutes. Grimes is playing 30. Maxey is playing 30.
I hope this is a bit. This is like when Derek knows he can needle me with Ben Simmons. Devon's like, today's a day. I just want to make Kyle think about Kyle Lowry, backup point guard.
I just hope when we get starter Kyle Lowry, it's a road game so we get Kyle's reaction and I'm not sitting there on press row.
We got to keep a Lowry tracker this year.
I cannot be on the
1.5.
fast
If it happens at the Wells Fargo Center, I will have the camera on Kyle at all times just so I can post
My
the
bad,
reaction.
Densley Richard and Kyle. I apologize.
right.
I just had to throw it out there because there are no other guards.
Don't
while
you put
McCain
that
is
evil
hurt.
on me, Ricky Bobby.
We do have a super chat here that we have to get to from AKA my man, DJ, AKA Mr. Sandman. Bring me a dream that Kyle Lowry plays 1.5 games, 15 minutes. We'll see what it looks like. Up-tempo only works if the center hustles up the court to collapse the defense into the paint. It opens up the three-point shooting. Well, for one, Edgecombe is one that will probably play some minutes. He will certainly run the floor.
He'll fit in that style for
He
sure.
will. But where I will disagree is you don't need the center to be the only one to get up the floor. If you have 3 guards that are pushing the transition, you already have the speed Now you're worried about, while that can collapse the paint, yes, but you're spraying out to those spots. You're finding your spots around the three-point line because that's today's NBA.
Yeah.
That's what happens in today's league, and that's why I think it was still. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying
It certainly helps to have
I'm
the
saying
big
you
run.
can't say it only works if the center hustles up the court. That's not true. If the guards get out and they do what they do, then you can get. And when you have elite finishers like Tyrese Maxey and now VJ Edgecombe with athleticism, and Quentin Grimes has shown that he can finish at the rim, then I think that, and I'm not saying they're the only three. There's certainly more players that happen, but I'm looking at as the three guards get out, fill the lanes, run the middle of the floor, boom, and you see what happens. Let the other two follow up and see where it then goes. And then, as I said, there's a secondary break that also goes into that too, where you can now surprise with the rim runner. The big man, Joel Embiid, three-point line to get there to maybe hit a shot. Or he's Embiid. He's going to get the ball, and they're going to have to figure it out how to defend him, and then other things open up. So I disagree with you a little bit that it does not only work if the center hustles up the court.
I mean, just go back to like Kevin Love when he was playing small ball center. Like he wasn't, sprinting down the floor. Now he was igniting the break with his incredible outlet passing. Even Jokic, and Jokic is a more committed rim runner than Joe for sure. But he's not, flash out here.
Not a track
running up.
star.
Yeah.
No.
What you need is a stop, and a lot of times a block shot is a great way to ignite the break.
Yeah.
But a stop, a rebound, and outlet pass. And I'd love to see Joe a little better with the outlet passing at times. Like it can take him a little bit to find his outlet. But if you have that along with someone like Tyrese to push the ball, and then athletes like Kelly, like VJ, I think they can definitely have a better break than last year, even when Joe's on the floor. And certainly when Bona's on the floor, then yeah, you're going to have a center running.
As long as you have an extra man, one more guy running than the other team has back, you will be able to create some openings in transition.
Just make the right decisions.
I'm not 100% disagreeing with our friend Mr.
It
Sandman,
helps.
but
It's not required.
yeah, but there are many ways to succeed with transition offense.
That's right, Glenn. Trailer. Just drop the ball off, man. Let them know that you're there. And they hear it, they have to defend that, and then you see where you go from there with that one. So we appreciate that one, and we appreciate it. Look at Mark says he's late here in the chat. I'm late, but I just want to say Grimes is back, baby. Quentin Grimes.
Elon Musk after his
has
child
returned.
support hearings. Come on, I had to slide that one.
You got to do it.
That was my Bree moment from yesterday.
I knew Derek would love that one in particular. Anyway,
All right, let's get to some
Sixers basketball is almost here.
Let's get to some news. First, let's get to some news and notes on the Flyers on our show here, on our channel here. We got to tell you about yesterday. We told you that the Flyers brass sat down with Anthony Gargano.
Great interview.
So please go check out the Operation Orange and Black conversation with Anthony Gargano and the Flyers brass there. You see it. New head coach Rick Tocchet in town, Danny Briere, along with Keith Jones, all the guys there with Anthony. Go check it out. Great conversation. It's an hour-long conversation. Well worth your time, though, to see the four of them sit down with Anthony. And I don't believe that they have done that yet with anyone else. So this is an exclusive that has never happened. Please, on our YouTube channel, go check it out. It's a great conversation. Flyers start tomorrow.
By the way, thanks to the Flyers for helping set that up, right?
Yes.
It's rare that you get all the power figures in an organization like that all in one place to talk about the team. So very cool stuff.
Season opener in Florida to take on the Panthers tomorrow. And with that, you certainly have to go check out our PHLY Flyers team with Bill and Charlie and Kelly. And, of course, you have Brenna doing a great job on the production side. So make sure you go check out the Flyers as they get their season started tomorrow for their season opener. 2 weeks for us, 14 days away from the start of the Sixers season. All right, let's tell everybody on the television side, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. because we're going to overtime at allphly.com. We will see you tomorrow right back here at 3 p.m. as we get ready for preseason game number 3 and the first one in the States back here at home against the Orlando Magic. News and notes continues. Let's start off with our good friend, calls the Sixers games here locally, Kate Scott.
Look at that.
Kate Scott has been
Lead
named the
play-by-play.
lead play-by-play voice for the USA Network's upcoming coverage for the WNBA. Couldn't happen to a better person. She's fantastic. She does a great job, of course, here locally with the Sixers. Going into what, year 3, 4 now for Kate, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. So
All the
she's
years blend together for me. So
she's broken barriers with calling NFL games as
the Madden.
she's in Madden.
I was about to say
and
soundtrack, and I was like, wait, that's not right.
the video game.
She's on the Madden. I
It's a
sound like a
video game.
50-year-old man now.
And
talking
now
about video
Kate will
games.
call the WNBA games for USA Network. Congratulations, Kate, on yet another great honor. And I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot of her as we pay attention. Should be calling some WNBA games for whenever the local team gets started in 2031, I think it is. Hopefully
Someone comes up with a good name, because I've seen a lot of bad ones
I agree.
suggested.
You might just have to call them Philadelphia basketball team. There you go.
Call them Philadelphia Freedom. How about that? And then you just play the Elton John song.
Just
every
play the
game.
games. Just play the game. She spoke also when Unrivaled announced they'll have a game here in January where they'll be in town at the arena. And Kate was a part of that announcement with Tasha Cloud, all that cool stuff. So that'd be great. All right, final news and notes here. Non-basketball, non-pop culture.
Okay, so no movies.
It's
We had
kinda-
a big movie day
I know we had
yesterday.
It's kind of pop culture just because of let's just show everybody, Bree, what's going on. So apparently, Kyle, we were talking about this the other day on Saturday when North Carolina was losing again.
Oh, that nobody's had a bigger fall from grace this quickly that wasn't in a giant scandal than Bill Belichick.
And so Pro Football Talk has the tweet, but according to Heel 247, that's big in North Carolina sports there, potential exit strategy discussions have begun at North
Here's the
Carolina
exit. You're fired, motherfucker.
regarding Bill Belichick, with reports of rules violations fueling the situation.
Yeah, he broke the number one rule. Don't
Lose.
stink. Play better, idiot. You broke that rule. Sorry, man. Yeah,
Any
they're a
surprise
mess.
here, honestly, is a surprise that is this soon.
Of course. And I will say, there was some talk at the practice facility today amongst media about college football and how NIL has changed the college environment big time. I don't know that he really understood what he was getting involved with, right? Because even if he just is like such a great coach and is such a genius tactical mind, that stuff matters, but it doesn't matter as much anymore. It's just as much the recruiting and the, being in some mom and dad's kitchen in some backwoods town somewhere, month after month in the off season. And it was that before NIL. So now it's not just that you have to recruit guys. You have to basically recruit your own players every year. You have to convince guys that it used to be like you convince someone to come and then you basically had them for as long as they were going to be in college, right? And now it's more of a year by year basis. And I'm not against that, by the way. Like, coaches shouldn't be able to promise you XYZ and then you ride the bench for 4 years. But it makes it so as a head coach, you have 1,000 different responsibilities. And Bill Belichick, having won all these Super Bowls and accomplished this much, I got to imagine he's looking at all this like, what the fuck did I get involved with?
And also, I mean, look, I'll say it. Also, I don't think it helped that his girlfriend is on the sidelines while he's got the headset on and she whispering in his ear. So
I mean, yeah.
that does not help with this is a real football program, man. And this is a real big situation. All eyes were on you this year because of leaving professional football and coming to North Carolina thinking you were going to change things, turn things around. And with the NIL and now that just hovering over him, I mean, Derek, that was just...
Eugene
you
said
knew
he
it
was looking
it
at the
wasn't gonna
wrong
work.
20-year-old.
I wasn't going to say it, but yes. Yes, he was. And maybe
Eugene,
that was...
if you had a YouTube video I could give a thumbs up to, I would do it right now. That's my
Thumbs up.
like button on Eugene's comment.
That 20-year-old kind of, I don't know what's
like,
going
that
on
also
with
brought
that.
more heat on
It did.
him. And now that you're underperforming, people are just like, yeah, you're this sad old man with this woman who's barely been alive for like a third of your life. Right? It's just, the whole thing is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So that's the reports coming out of North Carolina that things are, as we see, not great.
Tom Brady's GOAT case gets
great.
stronger by the loss, by the way.
Look at Las Vegas right now. The Raiders aren't good. He's ahead of that whole thing.
I was always a little bit of a Tom Brady hater because you
man.
have to be, right? When they're that good, it's just like, no, screw this guy, man. But the further you get removed from his playing career, it's like, damn, you really got to respect the shit out of that guy.
That's our news.
Carrying sorry ass Bill Belichick.
Any thoughts
all
there,
these
Derek?
Super Bowls.
Derek was
I'm
like,
still laughing about the 20-year-old comment. I'm not even here. What was that? A 5-year deal?
it's like a
Five-year
and like
deal.
a lot of money.
Yeah, like I think it was like 50 mil.
He got
lot
a
of
big
money.
recruiting class too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, if they can, honestly, if they can see through this year and you bring in more guys, and then, like, maybe that's the trick. I do think that the bar's got to be higher than he has set so far, though,
man.
for sure.
Just crazy stuff. So
Espy said she doesn't know what a CD player is either. All right, it's time for roll call. I got to get out of here before I get in trouble for something or just reading somebody's chat.
let's get to the world famous.
I'm going to leave the rest of
roll
these to
call.
the chat. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As always, as my guy correctly points out, Tom Brady is a loser. Nick Foles never lost the Super Bowl. Go Birds. Nick Foles outdueled him, and that will always, it's one of the funniest things, right? This guy is one of the greatest athletes in team sport history, and he lost 3 Super Bowls to Nick Foles and Eli Manning on just like absolute miracle wins. So that's sports, baby. Thank you to Smy Guy.
Eli
Thank you
Manning and Nick Foles.
to
boy.
Mark Jackson.
Ooh.
Thank you to DJ, a.k.a. Mr. Sandman,
Bring me a dream.
for that super chat, but also just for being here. Thank you to You Better Love Somebody, to Duck Holiday, to Ron Burton, not to be confused with our guy Roy Burton.
What up, Ronnie?
Thank you to Ron. Thank you to Yams. Thank you to You Know
that this was going to happen with Bill Belichick, and it did.
Thank you to Mello 3 Point, to SB Cole, Mikhail No Bridges. We have veteran of the Psychic Wars in the chat with us today.
What up, Vet?
A regular Discord chatter and user. Thank you to Vet.
You see it too, right?
Thank
Kyle
you to
Lowry's going to
Charles.
get some minutes.
Charles, in the middle of the show, said, I'm so lucky to see this show. I just wish more people would hit the damn thumbs up button. And I'm not making that up. You guys
Amen.
can scroll up yourself.
Charles in charge.
Thank you to Charles. Listen to Charles and hit the damn thumbs up button on this video. Thank you to DC Marley, to Dave P, to Brian Knight, to Jeff.
What up, B Knight?
Sean Ford, Greeny Green, Percy Swint.
Greens.
I think Percy said he's a West Coaster. So 6 p.m. start on this Phillies game tonight.
Perfect for you.
Happy for you, Percy. You ever see that meme? It's like, I'm happy for you, and it's that baby who's just making like 4 different scowl faces. That's me right now. But thank you to Percy. Thank you to Theo, to Jess, to Val, to my girl Nona.
Hey, ladies.
Marcus Blackstock, Taj. Say what?
What up, Taj?
Hedfa, Eugene Ross, Freddie Powell, Glenn A, Densley, Phil Evans. Thank you to everybody who
What
was
up, y'all?
here. Thank you to Mom's grandchildren, of course. What's up to Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I didn't say your name, you know I appreciate you being here. I'd appreciate you even more if you hit the thumbs up button, hit the like on this video. Helps out the channel, helps me sleep at night. Sends a nice message to super producer Bree that she's
Makes
doing
us
an
number
amazing
one.
job. She's doing an amazing job regardless, but we love that positive feedback loop, the serotonin, all those nice things that come with seeing that thumbs up
Did
counter
you guys
go
catch
up.
that sound drop, the Nintendo sound drop there in there when Bree dropped that in there?
Love that.
She did that.
And thank
She
you to
did
Provolone John. And thank you to Darkness.
Turn the lights out for
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick again.
On the way out, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And we will be back tomorrow.
Sorry.
3 p.m.
Still laughing.
Last 3 p.m. show of the week. Tomorrow at 3. We'll have post-game Friday night for Sixers Magic.
Yes,
Obviously,
we will.
we hope in the next 2 days we get a couple Phillies wins and Eagles win. And we'll see what happens with the Sixers on Friday. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday at 3 p.m. Until then,
Go Phils.
take care of one another.
Go
Stay
Phils.
safe. Go Phils. Goodbye.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.